Hello, everybody, and welcome to Doki Doki Literature Club, a new series for the Raptor Roll channel, and spoilers, obviously, this is going to be a review very, very soon. A couple things to get out of the way, however, though, is one very important thing. At the beginning there, you may have saw a message that said that this game is not for children or those who are easily disturbed, and that is accurate. I'm going to because I've actually come to realize the Raptor Roll channel, other than Faith, has never played a game where I've had to give a content warning of any sort. I've never had to worry about things like epilepsy or seizures or content warnings, anything like that. Doki Doki Literature Club is the first game to break that pattern because I need to give you an important note about this game's content and what to expect. Doki Doki Literature Club is a game that makes references to, jokes about, and depictions of self-harm, abuse, manipulation, and even suicide. So with that in mind, please understand that when we go into this, first off, I know what's happening. I've played DDLC before. I'm way late to the party on this one. But this game is not fucking around. This game is majorly, like, it's bad. But regardless, we're going to be playing it here for you guys today. By the way, I am playing the Doki Doki Literature Club Plus version. So the Plus version has a couple of major differences. The big one being the fact that this game was actually made so that DDLC could be ported to consoles like PlayStation, Xbox, and even the Nintendo Switch. You'll see that a bit later on. But if you want to try out Doki Doki Literature Club and play along if you've never done this before, the game is available for free on Steam and itch.io. If you go with either of those versions, though, I highly encourage you to keep your eye on the game files. With Steam, you can right-click the Steam game, go to Browse Local Data, and go to those game files there. And with the RenPy version, you choose where you want that installed, so just navigate over there, go to the file, and everything like that. But again, highly encouraged. And as far as I can tell, yeah, so this should be a clean save, hopefully. Let's take another look here. Enter my name. This is going to be a very chill playthrough simply because DDLC is a chill game for the most part. It's a visual novel, not a lot of gameplay mechanics, and we'll get into that a bit later. Here we go. Hey! I see an annoying girl running toward me from the distance, waving her arms in the air like she's totally oblivious to any attention she might draw to herself. That girl is Sayori, my neighbor and good friend since we were children. You know, the kind of friend you'd never see yourself making today, but it just kind of works out because you've known each other for so long. We used to go to school together on days like this, but starting around high school, she would oversleep more and more frequently, and I would get tired of waiting up. But if she's going to chase after me like this, I almost feel better off running away. However, I just sigh and idle in front of the crosswalk and let Sayori catch up to me. I overslept again. But I caught you this time. Maybe, but only because I decided to stop and wait for you. Yeah, you say like you were thinking about ignoring me. That's mean, Ryan. Well, if people stare at you for acting weird, then I don't want them to think we're a couple or something. Fine, fine, but you did wait for me after all. I guess you don't have it in you to be mean even if you want to. Whatever you say, sorry. So yeah, Doki Doki Literature Club is obviously a visual novel, and I want to take a couple of moments here because, again, I know what's happening. I'm not oblivious to how this game operates. Any of you who went over to the Steam section to download this game, by the way, most likely saw it's labeled psychological horror. I wanted to take the opportunity to discuss Doki Doki Literature Club on a more technical level and talk about my experiences with it and why I love it so much. And again, it's a very short, chill game, all things considered. Or chill's the wrong word. It's a very short, engaging game, I should say. And again, it's a visual novel, and I love those. By the way, Ryan, have you decided on a club to join yet? A club? I told you already, I'm not really interested in joining any clubs. I haven't been looking either. Hey, that's not true. You told me you would join a club this year. Did I? I'm sure it's possible that I did in one of our many conversations where I dismissively go along with whatever she's talking about. Sayori likes to worry a little too much about me, and when I'm perfectly content just getting on by on the average while spending my free time on games and anime. Uh-huh. I was talking about how much I'm worried that you won't learn how to socialize or have any skills before college. Your happiness is really important to me, you know? And I know you're happy now, but I die at the thought of you becoming a NEET in a few years because you're not used to the real world. A NEET, by the way, for those who worried, it's not like some like slur or anything like that. A NEET is basically an otaku for otakus, like someone who quite literally refuses to socialize and locks themselves inside and not doing anything all day. You trust me, right? Don't make me keep worrying about you. All right. I'll look at a few clubs if it makes you happy. No promises, though. Will you at least promise you'll try a little? Yeah, I guess I'll promise you that. Yay! Why do I let myself get lectured by such a carefree girl? More than that, I'm surprised I even let myself relent to her. I guess seeing her worry so much about me makes me want to ease her mind at least a little bit. And if she does exaggerate everything inside of her head. By the way, as we go along here, I'm not going to be reading all of the main character's internal thoughts, just because a lot of it is like standard visual novel fare, filling out space. Clubs. I have thoughts about the main character, and we're going to see them very much later on. But for now, just know I have beef with him. Hello? Sayori? Sayori must have come into the classroom while I was spacing out. I look around and realize I'm the only one left in the classroom. I thought I'd catch you coming out of the classroom, but I just saw you sitting here and spacing out, so I came in. Honestly, you're even worse than me sometimes. I'm impressed. You don't need to wait up for me if it's going to make you late for your own club. Well, I thought you might need some encouragement, so I thought, you know... Know what? Well, that you could come to my club. Sayori. Yeah? There is no way I'm going to your club. Meanie. Sayori is vice president of the literature club. Not that I was ever aware that she had any interest in literature. In fact, I'm 99% sure she only did it because she thought it would be fun to help start a new club. Since she was the first one to show interest after the one who proposed the club, she inherited the title of vice president. That said, my interest in literature is guaranteed to be even less. Yeah, I'm going to the anime club. Come on, please. Why do you care so much anyway? Well, I kind of told the club yesterday I bring in a new member, and Natsuki made cupcakes and everything. Don't make promises you can't keep. I can't tell if Sayori is really that much of an airhead, or if she's so cunning as to have planned all this out. I let out a long sigh. Fine. I'll stop by for a cupcake, okay? Yes, let's go. So one thing I want you to take a note of, by the way, especially as we go on, for those of you who have never played this game before and are experiencing it for the first time, I want you to note how the main character talks to all of the characters, but especially Sayori, because you're going to notice pretty quickly that he tends to kind of like change his tune when it comes to her in particular, more often than not when it comes to a lot of things. And again, we're going to see a lot of that later. Sayori, full of energy, swings open the classroom door. Everyone, the new member is here. I told you don't call me new member. Eh? I glance around the room. Welcome to the Literature Club. It's a pleasure meeting you. Sayori always says nice things about you. Seriously? You brought a boy? Way to kill the atmosphere. Ah, Ryan. What a nice surprise. Welcome to the club. All words escape me in this situation. This club is full of incredibly cute girls. What are you looking at? If you want to say something, say it. Sorry. Natsuki. The girl with a sour attitude, whose name is apparently Natsuki, is one I don't recognize. Her small figure makes her look like a first-year student. She's also the one who made cupcakes, according to Sayori. You can just ignore her when she gets moody. Sayori says that quietly in my ear, then turns back towards the other girls. Anyway, this is Natsuki, always full of energy. And this is Yuri, the smartest in the club. Don't say things like that. Yuri, who appears comparably more mature and timid, seems to have a hard time keeping up with people like Sayori and Natsuki. Oh, well, it's nice to meet both of you. That sounds like you already know Monica, is that right? That's right. It's great to see you again, Ryan. Monica smiles sweetly. We do know each other. well, we barely talked, but we're in the same class last year. Monica was probably the most popular girl in class. Smart, beautiful, athletic, basically completely out of my league. Take note of that line, by the way. So having her smile so genuinely feels a little... You too, Monica. Come sit down, Ryan. We made room for you at the table so you can sit next to me or Monica. By the way, if you've never watched it, I highly recommend you check out Radical Soda's Doki Doki Literature Club video. One of my favorite Doki Doki Literature Club videos on the internet. But I've always loved his bit there of, and I might pull it up here. I just kind of interject it right there because it's such a perfect moment. But you know, it's like, sit down next to me or Monica. I pick Monica!
Come sit down, Bowser. We made room for you at the table so you can sit next to me or Monica.
I pick Monica!
I take a seat next to Sayori. But yeah, I know, just the idea of just like, you know, I pick Monica, goes back to next to Sayori. No! Oh, it's so good. I love it so much. Again, highly recommended. Also, take note of the features of the classroom as well. Posters all along the back wall, the open closet in the back, lots of things like that. We'll also go read those real quick, by the way. I'll get the cupcakes. Hey, I made them. I'll get them. Sorry, I'm a little too excited. Then how about I make some tea as well? And then all the girls go and disperse and start returning slowly. Natsuki proudly marches back to the table, tray in hand. Okay, are you ready? Ta-da! Whoa! Natsuki lifts the foil off the tray to reveal a dozen white fluffy cupcakes, decorated to look like little cats. The whiskers are drawn with icing, and little pieces of chocolate were used to make ears. So cute! I had no idea you were good at baking, Natsuki. Well, you know. Just hurry and take one. Sari grabs one first, then Monica. I follow. It's delicious. Sari talks with her mouth full and has already managed to get icing on her face. I turn the cupcake around in my fingers, looking at the best angle to take a bite. You ever done that, by the way? When you get like, you know, like if you ever go to like a grocery store, they give you like those one cupcakes for like $5, but they have like so much frosting, it's more frosting than cupcake. I'm like, I always feel like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? I usually end up letting the icing just like fall off so I can just eat the cupcake. Natsuki is quiet. I can't help but notice her sneaking glances in my direction. Is she waiting for me to take a bite? I finally bite down. The icing is sweet and full of flavor. I wonder if she made it herself. That's really good. Thank you, Natsuki. Why are you thanking me? It's not like I... Haven't I heard this from somewhere before? Made them for you or anything. So, yes, you can now kind of see that Natsuki falls into the tsundere character trope. She even called us dummy. Labaka. I give up on Natsuki's weird logic and dismiss the conversation. Yuri returns to the table, carrying a tea set. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before sitting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray. You keep a whole tea set in this classroom? Don't worry, the teachers gave us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book? Ah, I guess. Don't let yourself get intimidated. Yuri's just trying to impress you. That's not... Insulted, Yuri looks away. I meant that, you know. I believe you. Well, tea and reading might not be a pastime for me, but I at least enjoy tea. I'm glad. Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. Monica raises an eyebrow, then smiles at me. So what made you consider the literature club? I was afraid of this question. Well, I haven't joined any clubs yet, and Sayori seems still really happy here, so... That's okay, don't be embarrassed. We'll make sure you feel right at home, okay? As president of the Literature Club, it is my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone. Monica, I'm surprised. How come you decided to start your own club? You could probably be the board member of any of the major clubs. Weren't you leader of the debate club yesterday? That's a feature of Monica that doesn't get brought up very often, the fact that primarily, before now, she was in the debate club. Again, that's just like a part of her backstory that we don't hear about very often. Interesting that they bring up debate club explicitly. Well, you know, to be honest, I can't stand all the politics around the major clubs. It feels like nothing but arguing about the budget and publicity and how to prepare for events. I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy and make something special out of it. And if it encourages others to get into literature, then I'm fulfilling that dream. Monica really is a great leader. Yuri also nods in agreement. Then I'm surprised there aren't more people in the club yet. Must be hard to start a new club. You could put it that way. Not many people are interested in putting out all the effort to start something brand new, especially when something that doesn't grab your attention, like literature. You have to work hard to convince people that you're both fun and worthwhile. But it makes school events like the festival that much more important. I'm confident we can all really grow this club before we graduate. Right, everyone? Yeah, we'll do our best. You know it. Everyone enthusiastically agrees. Such different girls, all interested in the same goal. Monica must work really hard to find these three. Maybe that's why they were also delighted by the idea of a new member joining. Though I still don't really know if I can keep up with their level of enthusiasm about literature. So Ryan, what kind of things do you like to read? Well, honestly, that's the thing. Despite how much I love Doki Doki Literature Club, and I do like writing, I'm not a book person. Have you ever had that thing where you start to absorb information about a book and your eyes just kind of like glaze over and you can tell you're taking in the information, but you're retaining none of it? That happens to me more times than I would like to admit when it comes to novels and books and stuff like that. I very much struggle to maintain that level of focus when it comes to that. But again, I like literature. It's just I'm not, funnily enough, I like it. I'm not very good at it. Like video games. Manga. I mutter quiet to myself, half joking. Natsuki's head suddenly perks up. Looks like she wants to say something, but she keeps quiet. Not much of a reader, I guess. Well, that can change. What am I saying? I spoke without thinking to see Yuri's sad smile. Anyway, what about you, Yuri? Well, let's see. Yuri traces the rim of her teacup with her finger. My favorites are usually novels that build deep and complex fantasy worlds, my lady. The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is amazing to me. I think it's also, by the way, after the main game, since we're playing Plus, we will be playing the side stories. I believe in one of the DDLC side stories, it's implied Yuri is a Dungeons & Dragons player, which if it weren't for Monica means that she would be my favorite. And telling a good story in such a foreign world is equally impressive. Yuri goes on, clearly passionate about her reading. She seems so reserved and timid since the moment I walked in, but it's obvious by the way her eyes light up when she finds her comfort in the world of books. Not people. But you know, I like a lot of things. Stories with deep psychological elements usually immerse me as well. Isn't it amazing how a writer can so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to completely throw you for a loop? Anyway, I've been reading a lot of horror lately. I read a horror book once. I have not. Well, actually, hold on. When I was a kid, actually, I did the Goosebumps books. Did anyone ever read those R.L. Stine Goosebumps ones? Those were not great, but good for a child. The TV show, whole nother story. Really? I wouldn't have expected that, Yuri. For someone so as gentle as you, I guess you could say that. But if a story makes me think or takes me to another world, then I really can't put it down. Surreal horror is often very successful at changing the way you look at the world, if only for a brief moment. Ugh, I hate horror. Oh, why's that? Oh, I just... Natsuki's eyes darted over me for a split second. Never mind. That's right, you usually like to write about cute things, don't you, Natsuki? What gives you that idea? You left a piece of scrap paper behind last club meeting. It looked like you were working on a poem called Don't Say It Out Loud! And give that back. Fine. Your cupcakes, your poems, everything is just as cute as you are. Sari sidles up behind Natsuki and puts her hands on her shoulders. I'm not cute! Natsuki, you write your own poems? Eh? Well, I guess sometimes. Why you care? I think that's impressive. Why don't you share them sometime? No! And Natsuki averts her eyes. You wouldn't like them. Nah, I'm not a very confident writer yet. I understand how Natsuki feels. Sharing that level of writing takes more than just confidence. The truest form of writing is writing to oneself. You must be willing to open up to your readers, exposing your vulnerabilities and showing even the deepest reaches of your heart. Do you have writing experience too, Yuri? Maybe if you share some of your work, you can set an example to help Natsuki feel comfortable enough to share hers. I guess it's the same for Yuri. Oh, I want to read everybody's poems. We all sit in silence for a moment. Okay, I have an idea, everyone. Natsuki and Yuri look quizzically at Monica. Let's all go home and write a poem of our own. The next time we meet, we'll all share them in front of each other. That way, everyone is even. Yeah, let's do it! Plus, now we have a new member. I think it'll help get us a little more comfortable with each other and strengthen the bond of the club. Isn't that right, Ryan? Monica smiles warmly at me once again. She is absolutely correct, mind you. But hold on, there's still one problem. What's that? I never said I would join this club. Sarah may have convinced me to stop by, but I never made any decision. I still have other clubs to look at, and I lose my train of thought. All four girls seem taken aback. Step back at me with dejected eyes. But I'm sorry, I thought... Ryan... You all... I'm defenseless against these girls. How am I supposed to make a clear-headed decision when it's like this? That is, if writing poems is the price I need to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls. Right. Okay, I've decided then. I'll join the literature club. One by one, the girls' eyes lighten up. I'm so happy! Sarah wraps her arms around me, jumping up and down. You really did scare me for a moment there. If you really just came for the cupcakes, I'd be super pissed. Then that makes it official. Welcome to the literature club. Thanks, I guess. Okay, everyone. I think with that, we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. Remember tonight's assignment to write a poem and bring it back. Ryan, I look forward to seeing how you express yourself. Yeah. Can I really impress the class star Monica with my mediocre writing skills? I already feel the anxiety welling up inside me. Meanwhile, the girls continue to chit-chat and Yuri and Natsuki clean up their food, and we go home with Sayori. With that, the two of us depart the club room and make our way home. The whole way my mind wanders back and forth between the four girls. Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri, and of course Monica. Will I really be happy spending every day after school in a literature club? Perhaps I'll have the chance to grow even closer to these girls. All right. I should make this the most of my circumstances, and I'm sure fortune will find me. I guess that starts with writing a poem tonight. And now, ladies and or gentlemen, and or anything else in between, the only gameplay mechanic in Doki Doki Literature Club, the poem writing minigame. Once you're done watching this episode, right, if you don't care about spoilers or you already know what's going to happen, I highly recommend you check out the tech rules video of Doki Doki Literature Club, because that video, one of my favorites, by the way, great channel, did a phenomenal job deep diving on the mechanics of this game in particular to understand how the poem minigame works, why it works the way it works, and what are the consequences of doing things in specific orders. Now, here's the basic thing to note about. If you were to give, basically all of the words have point value associated with each of the girls. 1-3, 1-2, 1-1, or some variations therein, right? If one girl has more points than the others, that's the route you're going to be on. It's the girl you're going to spend the time with after classes or before you share poems, right? By default, if you were to have even points across the board, the game defaults to Yuri. You'll also notice, by the way, Monica is not listed here. Again, do take note of that. But again, the game defaults to Yuri if no other route is explicitly decided upon. If you have no other options, Yuri is your go-to gal. I think the one the game defaults to the least is Sayori. But if I'm not mistaken, if I'm wrong, it defaults to Natsuki being the least. We're going to go for Yuri on this one just because it's my personal favorite against the one the game defaults to, and it is she's my girl. I love her very much. So we're going to pick this one. You want to pick words with basically a lot of syllables that imply very esoteric and abstract themes like portrait, incongruent, determination, heaven sent, unrestrained, intellectual, who these are effulgent, need to be careful with some of these though. Fantasy. Well, that's a new one now, isn't it? Night get. Excuse you. Judgment, sensation, unending, essence, melancholy, ambient, philosophy, crimson, infallible, entropy, and contamination. So with 2 exceptions, we got 18 for Yuri. We're definitely on her route. We should be on like the fast track to the explicitly Yuri route. We shall see. Hi again, Ryan. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. Nah, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but at least I keep my word, and I do. Well, I'm back at the Literature Club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Thanks for keeping your promise, Ryan. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Making you dive headfirst in literature when you're not accustomed to it. Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack. Sayori told me you didn't even want to join any clubs this year. And last year, too. I don't know if you plan just to come here and hang out or what, but if you don't take this seriously, then you won't see the end of it. Natsuki, you certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps their manga collection in the club room. Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying Monica and manga. Manga is literature! Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. Don't worry, guys. Ryan always gives his best as long as he's having fun. He helps me with busy work without me even asking. Like cooking, cleaning my room. How dependable. Sayori, that's because your room is so messy. It's distracting. You almost set your house on fire once. Is that so? You two are really good friends, aren't you? I might be a little jealous. How come? You and Ryan can be good friends too. Sayori. As usual, Sayori seems oblivious to the weird situation she put me into. I don't like the way he said that. Oh, Yuri even bought you something today, you know? Wait, Sayori? Eh? Me? Not really. Don't be shy. It's really nothing. What is it? Never mind. Sayori made it sound like a big deal. What's really not? What do I do? I'm sorry, Yuri. I wasn't thinking. I guess that means it's up to me to rescue the situation. Hey, don't worry about it. First of all, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place, so it's nice. Any nice gesture from you is a pleasant surprise. It'll make me happy no matter what. Is that so? Yeah, I'll make a big deal if you don't want it to be. All right. Well, here. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention even if you don't usually read. And we could, discuss it if you wanted. How is this girl accidentally being so cute? I don't know about you, I noticed a major tonal shift when talking with Sayori and Yuri. She picked out a book she thinks I'll like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. Yeah. Well, you can read at your own pace, so I look forward to hearing what you think. Now, we start the next portion of the day. Whoever's route you're on, you'll get a special scene with them, and a little CG cutscene and everything like that. It's nice. So, now it's like, all right, I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more. And this one kind of tells you whose route you're on. If you didn't know, talking to Monica will also tell you. We'll see that in a second. So we'll just catch into this real quick. Yeah. Crap. I actually noticed me looking at her because she was like, I'm like, oh yeah, you're just reading your book. And then she looks over. I'm like, oh no. She sneaks another glance at me and our eyes meet for a split second. But it makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry. I was just spacing out. I muttered this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book you gave me, right? Mm-hmm. I want to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Just curious, how come you have 2 copies of the same book? I mean, that's not weird. I have like 3 goddamn 5th edition Player's Can books and like 3 Pathfinder 2 E-Core rule books. Fucking, you're weird. Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday... That's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy 2 of them. Ah, I see. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me. I don't get it. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you may have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's it about? Well, Yuri closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. Here's the thing about Markov, right? I'm a Magic the Gathering nerd, so when I see Markov, my thought is, as in Vampire Lord Soren Markov? I'm almost certain that's not what the game intended, but that's what I think about, because again, I'm a huge fucking nerd. Alright, I just want to make sure I don't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. But as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison. And while her life is in danger, she needs desperately to choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationships, and her life starts to fall apart. That's, it's kind of dark, isn't it? Yuri gently giggles all of a sudden. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing? No, it's not that. I mean, I could definitely get into those. Don't worry about it. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot Yuri is into those things. What the fuck are you talking about? We talked about horror. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just that those kinds of stories, they challenge you to look at life from a strange new perspective. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals and their own philosophy that they believe in. Then suddenly, when you thought you related to the protagonist, they're made out to be the naive one for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plans. I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange, and please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. That's true. In fact, I might as well start reading it, right? You don't have to. What are you saying? Just a moment ago, you said you were looking forward to it. Let me just get the book. And we sit next to Yuri. Again, smooth ass motherfucker. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not like I don't want you to. It's just not something I'm used to very often. That is, reading the company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Alright. I open up the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realize she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry. I was just... Yuri, you really do apologize a lot, don't you? I do that too. I do? I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean... Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk up until it's against Yuri's, then hold my book between the two of us. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. Scandalous. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so I instead use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess this makes it difficult to turn the page. Here. That's adorable. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way, when I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face as she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? Huh? To turn the page. Sorry. I think I got a little distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a little bit longer. It's probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me. Yeah. Thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page way before I do, so I turn the page by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side. She catches it under her own thumb. Hey, Yuri, this might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. You think so? How does she? Well, I guess she's a lot more blunt in ways, but she also second guesses all the things she says and does, like she's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I can see into your head or anything, but they're kind of reminiscent of you, some of your mannerisms. I say... Hear me sigh for a minute. But Ryan, that's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. Oh, it's so embarrassing that you think that. Well, wait! I didn't mean in a bad way or anything. I'm sorry, I really didn't know you were self-conscious about that sort of thing. I guess I meant that it's kinda cute. What are you saying all of a sudden? Okay, everyone! I think it's about time we share today's poems with each other. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Yuri exhales, spared from finishing her thoughts. Is that alright, Yuri? You look kinda down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. It's not. It's fine. Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. Alright, I guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer if I only read with you? I guess I don't have too much of a preference either way. In that case, I'll read a little more tonight. It'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up a bit, you know? That's good reasoning. In that case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters in your own time. Alright! I stand up, and if that was me, they would not be getting finished. I would be doing like the Spark Notes version, just like going online and say, what happens to the first 2 chapters of Portrait of Markov so I can read with the cute purple-haired girl. By the way, did you remember to write a poem last night? Yeah. Relaxation over. Well, now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share with? I can't wait! So everyone's now exchanging poems, and now it's time for me to do the same. And now it's time to show a little bit of, like, not branching paths, but ways the game can kind of slightly diverge depending on your choices. We can show our poem to whoever we want in any order. Obviously, this was written with Yuri in mind, but I want to talk to Monica first. I should start with Monica. Yesterday, she seemed so eager to read my poem, and I want to know her not putting in my best effort. Hi, Ryan. Having a good time so far? Yeah. Good. Glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring these up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. I will not keep that in mind. I'm much better off going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Don't worry, Ryan. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? But it's that sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I hand Monica my poem. Great job, Ryan. I was going ooh in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way, it always counts when I put in some effort. No, that's bad. Yeah, she's right. That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Unlike Sayori, who likes using simple and direct words to describe her happiness and sadness, Yuri likes it when readers look to derive their own meaning out of it. It's very challenging to write like that effectively, both allowing people to get something out of it just by feel, or letting them deeply analyze all of the nuances. It could take years of practice, which I'm assuming Yuri has at this point. I never really asked, though. I'm sure I'm nowhere near her level yet. Don't worry so much about that. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learn by trying new things. I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. It could take a while before I feel comfortable doing this. That's okay. I'd love to see you try new things. That's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a little bit biased towards their own kind of styles, but I'll always help you find what suits you the most. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else wants you to write. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. She knows too much. Anyway, you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who doesn't claim to be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I don't always feel that way, you know? I see. Well, let's read it. And the best part, you can actually read people's poems. It's fun. Hole in wall. It couldn't have been me. See the direction the speckle protrudes. A noisy neighbor, an angry boyfriend. I'll never know. I wasn't home. I peer inside for a clue. No, I can't see. I reel blind like a film left out in the sun. But it's too late. My retina's almost already scorched with a permanent copy of the meaningless image. It's just a little hole. It wasn't too bright. It was too deep, stretching forever into everything, a hole of infinite choices. I realize now that I wasn't looking in, I was looking out, and he on the other side was looking in. One thing I note about Monika's poems in particular, Monika does not worry if her poem rhymes at all. It's actually very kind of tough to find out what like the structure of her poems in particular are. I can kind of see the idea of like, you know, short, lawn, short, lawn, short, lawn, short, lawn. But again, sometimes it just kind of skips one, like medium, short, 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 short. It's interesting. Anyone out there in the comment section, by the way, who are major literature gurus, do let me know. Do you have a good idea of why Monika would like write her poem like this specifically? I know the message about it. It's just the matter of like, you know, the structure of the actual poem itself. We won't see this continue with everybody else. So what do you think? It's very freeform, if that's what you'd call it. I'd call it great. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. That's okay. Yeah, that kind of style's gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. That's what I was thinking. When performed out loud, it could be really powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure of how to put it. I guess you could say that I had some kind of epiphany lately. It's been influencing my poems a lot. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it can kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone's better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monika's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you write a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you want to keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just end up with a dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. I appreciate Monika's advice there a lot because, as some of you might know, I also design my own tabletop role-playing games from time to time. I'm actually doing that as we speak, like working on another one. And it actually can be really useful to just put something down, not trying to figure out exactly how the rules are like going to work specifically, mostly just because you kind of know it's like going to change later anyway. So just getting anything out there and then trying it and then coming back and saying, now with knowledge, I know this is either too powerful or not powerful enough. This is too complicated or too simple. Things like that. They can actually open themselves up a lot more the more you look into stuff like that in particular. It's very useful. With that in mind, let's go ahead and show the rest of the girls and we can call that an episode. Let's start with Yuri. It was for her anyway. As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional. Huh? What was that? Huh? Did I say that out loud? Yuri first covers her mouth, then ends up covering her whole face. Cute. He's going to hate me. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for? Yuri takes a breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before. Really? That's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time. Huh? Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again. Well, I knew that. I just meant, Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her fingers along the words in the poem, as if breaking it down more thoroughly. Yeah. Okay, this is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers, and having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most notable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form-fit the two together. The end result is both the style and the expressiveness are weakened. Once Yuri finds a train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, and she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into even writing a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Not to give you a little biased, though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. I really shouldn't talk about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri's apologizing to herself, to me, or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem? Please do. I love to share my thought process behind it. Here we go. Very short, a lot shorter. Ghost under the light. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow. Bathing. It must be this one. The last remnant street light to have withstood the test of time. The last to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe, calm, breathing air of the present but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. I'm sorry I have such terrible handwriting. What? I wasn't thinking that at all. But it took you a long time to read. Well, I just don't read script very often. I think your handwriting is pretty. That's a relief. Also, I liked the poem. Even though it's short, it's really descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm glad you really liked it. I'll be honest, since our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little bit more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts? Actually, the story isn't about ghosts at all. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember that poems often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell simple stories or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only symbolically compared to a ghost, lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, as soon to be left with nothing. That's a lot more solemn putting it that way. I didn't really thought about that. That's impressive. It's nothing, really. Yours was impressive, too, so... Yeah. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you. You think so? Yeah, of course. You know, I was really nervous about doing all of this, but in the end, I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you. Aw, me too. And that was also adorable. Sayori. Wow! Ryan, your poem is really bad! It's fine, it's fine. It's your first time. Besides, I'm really happy that you just wrote one. It reminds me of how much you are really a part of the club now. Not to mention the fact that I'm standing in front of you in the club room. Of course. I'm not really into it yet, but that doesn't mean I'll break my promise. See? It's like I said before, Ryan. Deep down, you're not selfish at all, you know? Trying new things like this for other people, that's something that only real good people do. Thanks, Sayori. I'm not sure if Sayori sees the full picture of my motive here. Then again, I can't deny that she's part of the reason I joined. Know how much this means to her and all? Yeah, and I'm going to make sure you have lots of fun here, okay? That'll be my way of thanking you. All right, I'm going to hold you to that then. Hey, now you'll read my poem too, right? Don't worry, I'm really bad at this. We'll see about that. Dear sunshine, the way you glow through my blinds in the morning makes it feel like you missed me, kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepy from my eyes. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above, the sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever. I'm not mad. I want breakfast. The last line's obviously amazing, but also one thing I absolutely noticed about her poem, right, is the first 4 lines, the rhyming scheme isn't really there, but it's kind of like this like almost sing-song sort of thing. Talking about getting like the sunshine coming in through the blinds in the morning, waking her up. And in the second section, you get more of the rhyming scheme. Come out and play, rainy day, sky is blue, trust you too. But yeah, it's cute. It is adorable. Well done. Sayori. This is just a guess, but did you wait until the morning to write this? What an asshole. No, just a little bit. You can't answer just a little bit to a yes or no question. I forgot to do it last night. Well, at least that makes me feel better about myself. Don't be mean. I still tried my best. Ah, yeah. Again, asshole. I may say it was a bad poem. It's kind of nice, or how should I put it? It sounds exactly like you. Really? Yeah. Especially that last line. I made eggs and toast, my lady. Even though you were late to school, it's bad to skip breakfast. You get all cranky. Well, I guess I was really the point in arguing. Anyway, thanks for showing me or something, whatever. This is so much fun. Monica's the best. Ah, yeah. But next time I won't forget. I'm going to write the best poem ever. Well, I guess I look forward to it. And finally, Natsuki. Huh? Ryan, if you're not going to take this clip seriously, go home. What? Harsh? What, you expect me to believe you actually put effort into this? Do you think I'm stupid? I'm not a writer. Maybe it's not very good, but yeah, I did put in effort. We'll start somewhere, right? If you're still proud of the first poem you ever wrote, then I'd like to read it. Similar topic, if you're all wondering, hey, by the way, Raptor, I'm really happy with the, the Faith Unholy Trinity review as a first effort. Really well done. I appreciate that. Here's the thing, though. Not the first effort, and no, you will never find it. Painful to think about. Fine. Well, sorry. You'll get better anyway. I tell you what to improve, but you're better off just trying again. Fair enough. Well, each your own, I guess. Anyway, I guess I gotta share mine now. Knowing you'll probably think it's stupid. Eagles can fly, monkeys can climb, crickets can leap, horses can race, owls can seek, cheetahs can run, eagles can fly, people can try, but that's about it. So in terms of like the rhyming scheme, rather, obviously fly and try, but all the others really don't. Again, it kind of sets up for the idea of like, like a conventional rhyming scheme and everything like that. Because again, this can this can this, etc., etc., and then eventually, that's about it. Yeah, I told you weren't gonna like it. I like it. What? Just be honest. I am. Why are you so convinced I wouldn't like it? Well, because everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff, so people don't even take my writing seriously. I do appreciate, like, sophisticated writing, right? On the one hand, simple writing can absolutely be, like, a very, easy way to get a message across, and I do appreciate the bluntness of some writing. If you were to tell me to write something, I would probably lean towards making it more in-depth and metaphorical than making it less blunt and direct, just because that's what I like. But again, not saying either one's bad, just my preference. But isn't the point of poems for people to express themselves? Your writing style wouldn't make your message any less valid. Yes, exactly. I like when it's easy to read, but it hits hard. Like in this poem, seeing everyone write you do great things can be really disheartening, so I decided to write all about it. Yeah, I understand. But the other nice thing about the simple writing is that puts more weight on the wordplay. Like I set up for the rhyme at the end, but then it made it fall flat on purpose. It helps bring out the feeling in the last line. So you did. I guess more went into it than I realized. That's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something. Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did ya? Yeah, guess not. I decided to humor her with that last comment. I don't really care how old everyone is, but if Natsuki's feeling proud, then I won't take that away from her. And that's it for sharing poems. Before we call it an episode, let's obviously see what happens after we're done sharing poems. I'm sure nothing bad will happen whatsoever. Phew. I guess that's everybody. I glance around the room. That was a little more stressful than I anticipated. It's as if everyone is judging me for my mediocre writing skills. Even if they're just being nice, there's no way my poems can stand up to theirs. This is a literature club after all. I sigh. I guess that's what I ended up getting myself into. Across the room, Sierra and Monica are happily chatting. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They gingerly exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. As they read in tandem, I watch each of their expressions change. Natsuki's eyebrows furrow in frustration. Meanwhile, Yuri smiles sadly. What's with this language? Huh? Did you say something? Oh, it's nothing. Natsuki dismissively returns the poem to the desk with one hand. I guess you could say it's fancy. Thanks. Yours is cute. Cute? Did you completely miss the symbolism or something? It's clearly about the feeling of giving up. How can that be cute? I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. I was trying to say something nice. Eh? You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Thanks, but it really didn't come across nice at all. Well, I do have a couple of suggestions. If I was looking for suggestions, I would ask someone who actually liked it, which people did, by the way. Sayori liked it, and Ryan did too. So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions on my own. First of all, excuse me. I appreciate the offer, but I spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect it to change anytime soon, unless of course I come across something particularly inspiring, which I haven't yet. And Ryan liked my poem too, you know. He even told me he was impressed by it. Natsuki suddenly stands up. Oh! I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri. That's not what I... You're just... Yuri stands up as well. Maybe you're just jealous that Ryan appreciates my advice more than he appreciates yours. Huh? Are you going to appreciate my advice more? Are you that full of yourself? No. If I was full of myself, I would deliberately go away my... Oh, wow. I would deliberately go out of the way to make everything I do overtly cutesy. Oh. Is everyone okay? Well, you know what? I was the one whose boobs magically were size bigger as his Ryan started showing up. Natsuki! Natsuki, that's a little... This doesn't involve you! I don't like fighting, guys. Suddenly, both girls turned towards me as if they just noticed I was standing there. Ryan, she's trying to make me look bad. That's not true. She started it. If she could just get over herself and learn to appreciate that simple writing is more effective, then this would have happened in the first place. What's the point of making your poems all convoluted for no reason? The meaning should jump out to the reader, not force them to have to figure it out. Help me explain that to her. Wait, there's a reason we have so many deep and expressive words in our language. It's the only way to convey complex feelings and meaning most effectively. Avoiding them is not only unnecessarily limiting yourself, it's also a waste. You understand that, right, Ryan? Well? How did I get dragged in this in the first place? And now, we have three options. Natsuki, Yuri, or help me, Sayori. Now, obviously, this one will mostly depend on, like, hey, whose route you want to go down. I don't think this decision ultimately impacts any particular events later on. It's just kind of like picking your preference. That's one of the things about... Oh, wow, sorry. That's one of the nice things about Doki Doki Literature Club. At the opening of the game, at the outset, the game is very lenient with what, like, basically consequences. Choices you make early on tend to not impact later events until a lot later in the game. Once you kind of hit that midway point, then your decisions start becoming really impactful. So for now, talking about this purely in the terms of like writing, right? And the things that I like. I agree with Yuri. I like it when I read something and they teach me a new word or they teach me a new meaning to something I might have already known, things like that. I like finding poems and like things like that that can reinterpret ways that I understand the way things should be done and kind of express it. I'm a musician first and foremost, so I absolutely appreciate that level of complexity. I tend to lean towards my music being complex rather than simple. Simplicity can be fun and it can actually get across a feeling a lot more clearly, but if given the choice, I would always make my music more complex than simple. That's what I just like. So I'm going to go with Yuri on this one, but let me know in the comments, which would you do and what's your reasoning for it? Natsuki. You're right. I liked your poem. See? Wait. That's not an excuse for you to be so mean. You shouldn't pick a fight just because someone's opinion is different. That's not what happened at all. Yuri won't even take my poem seriously. I understand. Yuri? You're a seriously talented writer. It's no secret that I was impressed. Well, but here's the thing. No matter how simple or refined someone's writing style is, they're still putting feelings into it, and it becomes something really personal. That's why Natsuki felt threatened when you said her poem was cute. I see. I didn't notice that. I'm sorry. Oh. And that alone, by the way, that scene right there is making me like, oh yeah, absolutely. Like, Yuri, in my opinion, was not in the wrong of the argument itself, right? I would lean towards the situation. Yes, Yuri was genuinely trying to just be polite. Even if it's something that like she didn't necessarily like, Yuri was not trying to be impolite. She was not trying to pick a fight. She was simply saying, all right, let's see. Is there anything about this that I can actually find that I like? It's cute. Let's just say that because it's the nice thing to say. Don't have anything nice to say. Don't say anything at all. But Yuri did at least try to find something she could relate to, and it didn't work out. I'm fully with Yuri on this one. But Natsuki, you took it way too far. Yuri means well. If you just told her how you felt, then none of this would have happened in the first place. Are you kidding? That's exactly what I did. It was her that... Natsuki, that's enough. You both said some things that you didn't mean. Yuri apologized. Don't you think you should too? Natsuki clenches her fist. In the end, nobody has taken her side. She's trapped at this point, being defiant only because she can't handle the pressure. I end up even feeling bad for her. Sometimes when I'm hurt, it helps to take a walk and clear my head. Sayori, she doesn't need to... You know what? I'm gonna do that. It'll spare me if I would look at all your faces right now. Without warning, Natsuki snatches her old pillow up from the desk and storms out. On her way out, she crumples up the poem with her hands and throws it in the trash. Natsuki. She really didn't need to do that. I look across the room. Yuri has her chin buried in her hands while she stares at her down at her desk. I gingerly approach her and sit in an adjacent chair. Everything all right? I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I acted like that. You probably hate me now. No, Yuri. How could anyone not have gotten frustrated after being treated like that? You handled it well as anyone could. I do think Yuri absolutely started picking fights as soon as the fight started. But I agree. I think Yuri was in the right until she started trying to make it personal. I don't think any less of you, and that is true. I don't think any less of either of them. Well, all right, I believe you. Thanks, Ryan. You're too kind. I'm thankful to have you part of this club now. It's nothing. One more thing. That one thing that Natsuki said about, you know, I would never do anything so shameful. So... What thing did Natsuki say? Well, never mind that. I'm gonna go make some tea. Good idea. Make enough for more than one person, okay? Yeah. Okay, everyone. It's just about time for us to leave. How'd you all feel by sharing poems? It was a lot of fun. Well, I'd say it was worth it. It was all right. Well, mostly. Ryan, how about you? Yeah, I'd say the same. It was a neat thing to talk with all the others about. Awesome. In that case, we'll do it again. And maybe you learned something from your friends too, so your poems will turn out even better. I think to myself, I did learn a little bit more about the kind of poems that everyone likes. With any luck, that means I can do a better job at impressing those I want to impress. I nod to myself with newfound determination. Ryan, ready to walk home? Sure, let's go. And we head out. But before the end, obviously, one last moment. Sayori, about what happened earlier. What do you mean? You know, between Yuri and Natsuki. Does that kind of thing happen often? No. That really was the first time I've ever seen them fight like that. I promise they're both wonderful people. You don't hate them, do you? No, I don't hate them. I just want your opinion. That's all. I can see why they make good friends with you. Ew. You know, Ryan, it's nice I could spend time with you in the club, but I think seeing you get along with everyone is what makes me the happiest. And I think everyone really likes you too. That's... Every day is going to be so much fun. Looks like Siri still hasn't caught on to the kind of situation I'm in. Sure, being friends with everyone is nice, but I'm here for a date. We'll just have to see what the future holds, Sayori. I pat Sayori on the shoulder. Condescending asshole. Okay. Yeah. Let's do this. Back at it again at the Literature Club. And we're going to save the game, and we will be coming back to this next time on Doki Doki Literature Club here on the Raptor Roll channel. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you really do appreciate it. And again, we've talked a little bit at the beginning, and you're going to get more reports, like basically more warnings as the series goes along. But again, don't disregard what I was saying earlier about like this game being like unsuitable for children or those really disturbed. There's a reason the game opens with that. But again, we will get to that most likely next video. But anyway, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And I'll chat with you guys next time for more Doki Doki Literature Club. Take care, everybody.